I went into the NICU, and man, there was Liv with all kinds of things going on, and you could tell they had trying to figure out what was happening with her. And I think at that point you're just torn, trying to figure out, like, do I stay here? Do I want to know how Nicole's doing, and just everything else involved. And the only thing I remember thinking was, this is going to be a journey. This is going to definitely be a journey.
So after we lost Adelina, the geneticist contacted us to let us know that I had something called an unbalanced translocation. So 2 of my chromosomes are swapped around, but they're evened out. For the 23 chromosomes you have, you each get 1 from your mom and 1 from your dad. And so my chromosomes are balanced, but both Adelina and Livy's are unbalanced. And so up to this point, they've never had the translocation that they have with Liv. Their expectation for that was just no life.
She was in the NICU for 28 days. And I don't think they knew how well she was gonna do. They didn't give her a good prognosis, and just, they didn't know how well she was gonna do the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And so, every day I think we were just committing to, today. And that was it. And that's all you had. And you were going to be faithful with those moments and go from there.
We sat in the surgeon's office of the NICU surgeon, and he said, your best bet for her is to get a trach. Right now she's intubated. She had a tube through her mouth. Once we made that decision, the next day she went into surgery, and they did a tracheostomy, which is the tube that's in her throat that's basically the size of a straw. That's how she breathes. They also did a feeding tube, which is a tube that goes into her stomach. At the time, it was a G tube, so that we could start feedings that way. Then she had something called a Nissen fundoplication, which is basically where they tie off the stomach so that if she did have to spit up like babies normally do, we wouldn't have any problems with the trach. So that was like our big first to do. And at that time when we made the decision to do all those, I had no idea that that's what we would be coming home with. I think I thought that that was gonna be a temporary fix until we figured out a different way of life.
When it gets rough, Nicole really doesn't leave the house. I'll go to work, but outside of that, trying to figure out how to get out, not to mention in the car, we still haven't in 2 years gotten comfortable enough, at least with her and her suctioning for her trach and everything, driving together in the front. So that means one of us is constantly in the back. So that's pretty funny, thinking about it now, that we just don't ride together pretty much. We can't really leave her alone. If she falls asleep, we'll put a monitor on, but we're always in the room with her, and that means we don't get really a lot of time together. So trying to figure out how that works, I'm not sure we figured that out yet.
Next steps for Liv are our first of probably 2 surgeries for her craniosynostosis, which will actually be her 10th surgery. She will have an incision from ear to ear across the top of her head in a zigzag, and he will pull back her head and go in and reform the back of her skull, because craniosynostosis means that there's premature fusions of the sutures. Everyone knows what soft spots are on a baby, which she had some of them, but 2 major ones were fused. She's gonna have a new little round head in the back. I think our expectation is for her to live as best as she's supposed to live. She is the greatest grace grower. She's sassy. She's so strong.
knew that was gonna happen.
Funny.
Cute.
She teaches us to slow down and enjoy just the little things. And with each milestone, I feel like we get a greater of appreciation of just all that she's gonna do. She's our greatest adventure.